Well, after seeing those lights on my client's rig, I just had to come up with something for mine. But mine, I wanted to be able to crawl bareback, and I wanted to be able to also, run the shell. So what I came up with was these little compartments for the LED bezels. Everything's really tight fit. I didn't want to make it too big. It's pretty light. The idea is big hole on one side, little hole on the other. This gives me two options. If I take this post off, I can spin this around, and I can put the screws through, and I can mount this straight to the body, right where the body posts are. Bam. And then I have a very narrow thing with down light, shows me what's going on around me, front light and back light. They had a pretty good angle. The shock absorber will kind of be in the way. Yay! It's not good. Over here, I can run the shell over it. The shell just slides over it. And then, conveniently, the rear tail lights and these tail light openings will line up. And there's a nice big cutout opening here. So I should get pretty decent light shining out of the shell. Occasional tire blocking the way, but whatever. Give it a try. So that's what I'm up to. So much fun. I'm going to start by trying to salvage. I cut this off so short. What a dumbass. If I had left the leads just a little bit longer, it wouldn't be so much trouble. But I'm going to make my own little Y plug and come up with something for this. What I've done is I've basically gotten extra long leads on everything. We've got the kind of marks, I can tell. So, and ditto here. I've glued them in using Weld-On 16, since this is kind of like a cheap styrene type of plastic. It'll weld up good on that. So that's how that's going to work. And the idea is I'm going to just wrap these over as nicely as I can. I was also thinking just potting it, but then I got to worry about how I'm going to get these in and out. And if I have to re-drill them, I could end up nicking the wires or something stupid. So I'm not sure I want to pot it. I know I could probably wax these up real good, fill it with epoxy, but the epoxy is going to want to run out everywhere. So I'm not really sure. So what I've got now is I've got messes of parallel leads. So it's really pretty simple. I gang all my parallel leads together, and then I solder them to two wires coming out. So I get two wires coming out of here and a whole mess of wires all ganged up and then kind of smooshed down in there, and that's why I was thinking of maybe just potting the whole thing with epoxy. Ditto over here, just gang it up. Then there'll be two sets of red and black wires coming out of here, and those will come together, and they'll just go on a fan plug like this. This is what they'll go on to. And then that'll plug on to this, and then I'll have lights. So I could see light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't get to see any lights because it's time for me to take a little break. I think you can kind of get an idea of what I'm up to. So here's the headlights. This thing's going to look really creepy. Really wide-spaced lights. It's about the same width as the tires. And you can see it's definitely going to be casting on the tires. There's going to be a shadow. But, I could bring them inboard. Just by enlarging the holes, I could just slide the whole thing over and put it wherever I want. So, I'm not too worried about that. But when I look right down it, I'm getting a fair amount of splash past the tires. I think it'll work. If it doesn't, I can just enlarge these holes, slide them in, and I can trap these anywhere I want by just drilling and tapping on the bottom and putting a little screw, so it'll grab the rail. Okay, after spending a lot longer than I wanted or anticipated, I finally got her done. And what I decided to do is pot the thing with epoxy. So I waxed up the posts, got everything dammed off with tape. I'm not going to be able to fill up over everything. These little resistors are going to stick up above it, which is really unfortunate, but it's just a tight little space. But what it will do is it'll completely make sure everything is locked in. All the little bezels are all pushed in all the way. Yep, and keep it waterproof. Make it a little more ruggedized. And it can still slide off. I gave enough play on the cable system that it can be pulled off. And this is how it's worked out. I feel the weak link in this whole system is the winky little ribbon cable that comes from the BEC. It's just so small. I was feeling that the wires were, after 3 hours of runtime, the wires on the client's rig, even though I'm using 18 gauge, were warm. So I did the same. I used 18 gauge wires best I could, but you know, the little BEC ribbon cable is not 18 gauge. But nonetheless, get the front lights, got the down lights, and you got the back lights. So now I'm going to mix up a bunch of West System G5. It's 5-minute epoxy. I'm going to make a huge mess. Hey guys, thought I'd come out here on the porch before it got too dark to show you how the light bars look installed in the creeper. So they fit inside the side panels, behind the doors, more or less, right? Front light, bottom light, back light, and they are wired tastefully into the central chassis. You can see the power loop sticking up there. That could get tucked down, but what gives? Okay. And yeah, having some issues with the light hitting the tire before it gets to the ground, obviously. Right? I could move them inboard and get a more clear shot, but I'm going to check it out first. I'm waiting for the sun to go down so I can enjoy it. So here's the red one. The red one shines right through this lens in a very nice way. I like that. It lights the back tires up all red. You can see the bar over there, huh? So that looks. And there's really nothing to them that could be damaged. They're completely potted with epoxy. And got the leads are covered in unshrunk, heat shrunk. Give them a little abrasion resistance. So even if I took a hard fall directly on them, there's nothing that can get damaged or broken. I can imagine. All the wires are all bedded in there. Everything's locked in epoxy. So that's the idea. Well, let me go ahead and turn it on, and let's get the bottom side as I flip on the power. So it's all lit up. Got the red light coming down on the tire. Got the red light coming through the taillight lens. Very nice. Got the light shining directly on the tire. Probably not that useful, right? It doesn't completely shine on the tire, because as you can see, as I get back from it, you can see those lights, but they do get obscured by the tires. Depends on what angle you're at, right? So I have a feeling as I'm moving around on the rocks, these will still come in quite handy. And got a little shadow from this thing, of course, and you get the shadow from the tire, so you get this very weird light pattern coming out of there. We'll see that later tonight. And this one's just like a little yellow ball. Show me where I'm going all the time, huh? No idea what that's going to look like. But it'll be fun. So I'm kind of excited. I got the battery charged, and I'm just hanging out, waiting for the sun to go down.